Welcome to the shop where I just brought home a 2015 Pearl Black Polaris RZR S900. Now that's a mouthful. Anyways, we're going to walk around this thing real quick, see if we can notice some of the subtle differences and some of the big changes to see what makes this machine better than the 800S, besides the horsepower gain. Now, if you know much about these bikes, you've done heard this bike comes out with a 900. It's got 20 more horsepower than the standard 800S. The last few years, the 800S has had 55 horsepower. This year, it's got 75 horsepower. Now, first thing that really stands out to me, the A-arms. They got a dual bolt design. I'll show you real quick. On the 800S, has a single bolt, so there's a lot of bushing issues, which should be solved with this dual bolt new design. The frame of the chassis actually extends and comes around the front of the radiator. That way you've got a lot more protection for your radiator, and you've got a lot better spot to mount your bumper. You've got a lot better mounting point instead of just right in front of the radiator. It's kind of like down below the radiator. The axles look beefier, the A-arms look beefier. The whole bike just, it looks amazing compared to the old 800S. It looks a lot like the 1000. They say it uses a lot of the parts off of the 1000, a lot of the aftermarket parts. It's got the 900 engine, and the belt cover is real easy to get to. It's right under the left-hand rear fender. It's got the Fox 2.0 shocks with dual rates in the rear. It's got an easy access panel to get into the engine. Right there's the air box. Right there's the spark plugs, so you no longer have to pull the bed to get to them. And the airbox is in a lot better place because the airbox was over here on the 800S, and that tire kicked rocks and kicked a lot of stuff up at the airbox. So when you went to pull the cover off, you had to clean it real well, otherwise you was liable to get dirt inside of it. The front diff looks to be the same as the 800S. The tie rods. The 900S actually has tie rods instead of the heim joint style setup of the 800S. The driver's side seat has a slider so you can slide the seat back and forth. The dash looks a lot like the 1000. It's not painted, it's just a plastic style dash. The glove compartment actually has a spin knob, so it's got a real good latch. It's a lot better design than the old 800. The gas cap is real easy to get to. I had aftermarket doors on my 800S and it was kind of aggravating getting the gas cap off. The exhaust is a lot more open in here under the fender. The 800S, I don't know if you ever noticed, but on your right rear fender it gets real hot. This one looks like it's going to let that heat dissipate better than the 800S. This bike comes with the 27-inch Dirt Commanders. These are GBC's 8-ply tires, and these tires are awesome. I've been running these tires for years. The GBC's 8-ply lineup's a real tough tire. The Fox 2.0 shocks have high and low speed adjustments. That way you got a lot more adjustment than the old 800S. You've got some mounting points already with holes through the plastic, so you can mount aftermarket accessories, whether it be Polaris or any one of the aftermarket companies. The hood, like the 800S, is real easy to remove. Under the hood you've got an accessory block in case you want to install aftermarket lights or anything else. You got your coolant reservoir and your radiator. That's real easy to get to. And you can also see how the cage, how beefy the chassis is compared to the old 800S. Just like the old 800S, the radiator grill comes right out, so you can clean the huge monster of a radiator. The seat backs are adjustable, so you can raise them up and down simply by taking a few bolts out and reinstalling them in a different hole. The doors are easy access. You push the button, you slam them closed, you push the button, they open right up. Air intake and your clutch intake comes out the side of the bed, just like the 900 or the 1000. The 800S come out between the seats. And that's about all that I've noticed is different, other than the sway bar. The sway bar on the 900S is on the rear of the chassis, so it's real easy to remove if you want to. Now my bike, like I said earlier, is pearl black. And I really like the black, but I don't know about the yellow. I may have to do something about that. But anyway, that is the noticeable differences that I've noticed right off the bat. And something else that I noticed too, they've got a cover over your hook in the front. There's a hook behind the cover on the bottom, so you can strap it down. But there's actually a cover over it, so you can't see it now. Like I believe the 1000's got one, but I don't know if it had a cover on it or not. And this thing's got a little more ground clearance than the 800S. It's got a meaner stance. You've got more leg room. It feels like it's got a lot more than an inch, but Polaris says it has an inch more leg room. The chassis, I believe, is 2 inches longer, and the bike is still 60 inches wide. But anyway, that's a quick go over of the new 900S that I picked up at Norris's Super Cycle on 111.